Now we're going to look at the bench press. And regardless of what qualities we're trying to develop when we're utilizing a bench press exercise with our athletes, whether it be maximum strength or strength speed or speed strength, we would always apply the exact same technical model with the athletes that we're working with. So the technical model would be heels will be elevated off the floor, our hips will be in contact with the bench, we'd have an arc in our spine, our upper back will be in contact with the bench, our head will be in contact with the bench. In terms of our grip position on the bar, depending on how big the athlete is, you're looking at 3 to 4 fingers away from the knurling. And it's important once the athlete is set up that we make sure that they create tension at all the major junctions of their body. So their shoulders, their hips, and their feet are in contact with the floor. Really important consideration when teaching the bench press is that the bench press is an all over body exercise. So we need our feet on the floor and we need to be pushing back against the bench press itself in order to help generate force to complete the movement. So let's look at what that looks like. So Sam's going to go through his setup. Okay, so the first thing he's going to focus on is his foot position. So the feet come in line with the hips and his heels come off the floor. With the heel off the floor, when you're performing the movement, that little bit of pressure downwards helps create tension in here in the biggest junction in the body, which is the hip, okay? With the feet like this as well, as Sam is performing the movement, it also allows Sam push himself back towards the bench, which engage the hips, engage the upper back, and allow him to complete the movement much more efficiently. From here, we want to make sure that there's a good arc, and there's a great arc in Sam's spine. Really important to get the arc because it actually protects the back. Once the back is arched, there's tension along the spine, and that's what protects the spine through the movements. Okay, so now let's talk about how we create tension in the upper back, which is so important. So what we're going to ask Sam to do is, he's gotten his correct position here with about 3 fingers width outside the knurling. We're going to ask Sam to pull himself off the bench up towards the bar, okay, and from there squeeze himself down, okay, all the time creating tension in here and around his lats. Really important that he never breaks that tension while I help him lift the bar off, okay. So I'm going to lift the bar off and we'll go through a few reps, Sam. Good, yeah. Okay, so from here, the most important thing when performing the movement is the angle of his elbow. So his arms are tracking in a 45-degree angle. And what he's doing is he's utilizing all of that tension he's built in and around his back, okay? And he's using his back muscles himself to help spring himself out of the bottom of the movement. Always keeping tension on that spine, always keeping tension in the hip. And head remains in contact with the floor. Okay, good, rock that. So now we're going to look at a technique we can use to help develop strength, speed, and help develop power type qualities, utilizing a classical lift like the bench press. Bench press is traditionally a powerlifting exercise that's utilized to develop maximum strength or kind of sub-maximum strength. But when it comes to developing strength speed and speed strength, we need to increase the velocity at which the bar moves. So one of the techniques we use for that is accommodating resistance. So when it comes to accommodating resistance, the easiest way to set this up is have 2 dumbbells, loop the band through both dumbbells, and from here, the band goes around the outside of the bar. Really important when we're setting the bands up that they're equal on both sides, so there's equal amount of pressure. But also, and more importantly, it's really important to have the anchor points at which the band is placed in line with where the athlete is going to be bench pressing. So if you sit yourself back without grabbing the bar, okay, you want to make sure that the anchor point of the band is in line with the shoulder. So the athlete's not being pulled forward, not being pulled backwards through the movement, okay? So from here, again, exact same technical model as we used for our setup in the bench press, with our heels off the ground, creating tension in the hip, arched spine, create tension in the back. I'll lift you off. Nice and nice and slow on the way down, Sam, and then accelerate on the way up. Good. Good. Good, excellent. 2 more reps. Nice. Okay, great way to develop strength, speed, or power, because we have increased the athlete's ability to accelerate the bar at the top portion of the lift. So one of the problems that we encounter when we try and develop power or speed strength with a classical lift like a barbell is that the top portion of the lift is given back to a deceleration phase, because if we don't decelerate the bar will come away from our hand, or if we're squatting, the same thing, will come off the ground. When we add in accommodating resistance with bands, it allows us to utilize the full range of the lift that we're performing. So in this case, the bench press, and it allows us to develop power through the whole movement, or whatever quality we are trying to achieve will depend on the speed or the velocity the bar moves at.